Welcome to Just a Mama and Her Bible podcast. My name is Clarice, and I'm a Jesus loving mom to 4 kids who's on a mission to find her purpose and grow in faith with you guys. This is the first episode, and today I'm talking all about being and becoming a Proverbs 31 woman. So I'm just going to start with reading Proverbs 31. And I'm in King James Version of the Bible. And I am reading Proverbs 31, 10 through 31. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. She seeketh wool and flax, and worketh willingly with her hands. She is like the merchant's ships. She bringeth her food from afar. She riseth also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household, and a portion to her maidens. She considereth a field, and buyeth it. With the fruit of her hand she planteth a vineyard. She girdeth her loins with strength, and strengtheneth her arms. She perceiveth that her merchandise is good. Her candle goeth not out by night. She layeth her hands to the spindle, and her hands hold the distaff. She stretcheth out her hands to the poor, yea, she reacheth forth her hands to the needy. She is not afraid of the snow for her household, for all her household are clothed with scarlet. She maketh herself coverings of tapestry. Her clothing is silk and purple. Her husband is known in the gates, when he sitteth among the elders of the land. She maketh fine linen, and selleth it, and delivereth girdles unto the merchant. Strength and honor are her clothing, and she shall rejoice in time to come. She opened her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. She looketh well to the ways of her household, and eateth not the bread of idleness. Her children arise up and call her blessed, her husband also, and he praiseth her. Many daughters have done virtuously, but thou excellest them all. Favor is deceitful, and beauty is vain, but a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised. Give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates. It's just something about reading Proverbs 31 that just sits so well in my soul. Something about that. It's just something that I strive to become. And not because I be a good housewife, or I just want to do it for the Lord. For myself, for my children, for when I do end up having a spouse, I want to be a Proverbs 31 woman. Proverbs 31 is the final chapter of the book of Proverbs. That's something to think about. They made Proverbs 31 the final chapter. Ideal of a godly wife. I researched before I talk about what I'm going to be talking about. So I researched it, and Proverbs 31 was originally, it was written for a man, right? So it was written for King Lemuel's son to guide him in living a prosperous life, to lead well, all while pleasing God and choosing a wife and encouraging her to be the woman God is calling her to be. So it was written for a man. But it was written by a woman. It is believed to be written by Solomon's mother, Bathsheba. It presents a standard of what it means to be a godly woman. Right? So when I read Proverbs 31, I think of a woman who values herself, loves her family, and loves God. Also, she has much wisdom. Gives meant to be an impossible standard. Right? Because when you think of a Proverbs 31 woman, it's like, I haven't met anybody that can do all those things. I have met people that do a lot of those things, but have I met anybody who's done everything on that list of a Proverbs 31 woman? Not yet. I hear stories of my grandmother that my mom tells me that she basically was a Proverbs 31 woman. You know what I mean? Like, it's like in the generation that we're in, it's kind of hard to be a Proverbs 31 woman because of what is being put out of how women should be, and you know what I mean? So we have to unlearn a lot of things, and there's a lot of things to unpack in our minds that we've been, learning since we were children. And you know it was, when I hear Proverbs 31 woman, I don't think of a younger woman who's ready to get married or looking for marriage. I think of a woman that's already married, who has had so many experiences in the world and has so much wisdom in this world, right? So no, I don't believe that it was written for, sorry, I forgot. Lemuel's son. I don't think it was written for him to find a woman that will have all those characteristics, right? I think that it was meant for him to find a woman with the potential to grow into all those characteristics. So we all have the potential to be a Proverbs 31 woman. It's just something that we would have to work for, something that we would have to gain knowledge and wisdom and grow and learn and make mistakes, right? So when I think of Proverbs 31 woman, I think of a mature woman that has been through a lot, that has worked her way into becoming a Proverbs 31 woman. Talk about some of the characteristics of a Proverbs 31 woman. So I have 6 characteristics here. And the first one is she is a hard worker, right? She is diligent and she does not complain about her work, right? So she probably wakes up early before everybody. It says she wakes up before everybody else wakes up, right? And she doesn't complain about, oh, I'm so tired, which I catch myself doing every single day. I'm so tired. I don't, I don't want to get up, but she doesn't do that. She just gets up and she probably wakes up with gratitude. No complaints. So number 2 is she is wise. She is intentional with her decisions and seeks God's word. She is wise with her words. She speaks carefully and wisely. That's something. It's hard to stay shut. It's hard to not speak when you know you shouldn't say what you have to say, but you just have to get it out. Sometimes it's really hard to, think before you speak and stuff just comes out. I struggle with that on a daily basis. And then I feel afterward, I just feel horrible about saying what I said. And I'm just like, and then I pray about it after. But I'm like, if I would have thought before I spoke, then I wouldn't have had to go through that. So number 3 is she is more precious than jewels. And what I get from that is she's rare. She's one of a kind. She is very unique. This is a hard woman to find because this woman has put in so much work to be who she is. Number 4, she is God-fearing. She's God-fearing and she has a strong relationship with God because she did not get to where she is on her own. And she knows this. She knows that she needs that relationship with God to be the best version of herself. So number 5, she's strong and graceful. And she's strong in her faith. Number 6, she knows what she brings to the table. Right? Proverbs 31:18. She perceives that her merchandise is profitable. A godly woman knows her worth. She just does. She knows what she brings to the table because she seeks the kingdom. And she lets God guide her steps. And she wants to be different. You know what I mean? She doesn't want to be the same as everybody else. And as believers, we should want to be different. We should not want to be like everybody else and do what everybody else does. We want to be different from everybody else. Being a virtuous woman is something that we need to work at. Right? It's something that it's not going to take one day to become a virtuous woman. You know, you need God to guide you. You know, it's going to be, it's just one day at a time, right? So, like me, something that's starting to change my mindset and change my life is waking up every day and thanking God for what I have. Before my feet even touches that floor, before I grab my phone, before I grab water, before I grab anything, before I get up out that bed, I'm thanking God for everything I have. And I heard somebody say, what if whatever you thank God for is all you have for the day? So I think about that, right? And I thank God for everything that I could think of. Everything that I could think of for the day. And I do that every morning before I get off the bed. And that has helped me to become a better person. You know, it helps me to wake up more happy about life, right? Because I used to just wake up angry or get right on my phone, start scrolling, you know, and be sitting there for a whole hour on the phone, knowing I should be getting up, knowing I got 4 kids to raise. I gotta get up. Girl, get up. And, you know, it's a struggle. Also struggle with waking up early. So, it says that Proverbs 31 woman, she wakes up when it's still night. You know what I mean? So, I've been trying to wake myself up at 5 a.m. And it's a struggle. Because currently right now, it's 1:47 a.m. And this is a time that I had to record this podcast because I wanted my video to launch on time. So, imagine right now it's 1:47. I'm probably not going to go to bed till almost 2 o'clock. And then I want to be up at 5 a.m. I know it's not going to work out. So it's a struggle. You know, we all struggle. So, like, just one step at a time. So, I know it's a struggle, right? So, I know that if I try to get to bed earlier, try to get things done earlier, I wake up earlier, you know, I can be up at 5 a.m. while everybody's sleeping, have my own time to focus on self-care, to focus on getting things done, to focus on my podcast, my YouTube videos, to focus on what I need to focus on, my prayer life, you know what I mean? So, it's just one step at a time, but we can get there. It's all about growth. So when I was a teenager and I only had one son, I never cooked. I did not know how to cook. We had McDonald's all the time. We always ordered out. You know, we had noodles, simple things, hot dogs. You know what I mean? But as time went on, I grew. Now I'm at 4 kids and I cook a home cooked meal every single night. Right? My kids always get a home cooked meal. You know, it took a while for me to get to that. It took a while for me to get to so it's all about growth, right? Like striving to grow. Like when I had my first son, and I was just a teen mom, and I did not know how to cook a meal. We were eating out all the time and making noodles and hot dogs and stuff like that. But as time went on and I grew and I now have 4 kids, I cook a home cooked meal every single night. Like my kids, they always get a home cooked meal. And I'm still learning and learning new recipes as I go. So it just takes one day at a time, you guys. And I take pride in what I cook now. Before I just threw something on, and so I take pride in seeing the happiness that my food gives to my children. I take pride in that. You know that you can choose to wake up and change. Like, we don't have to stay the same, because a lot of times we hear, I've always been this way, and I'm never gonna change. I'm always this way. But we have to change, right? We won't see any progress in our life if we don't change. So we need to change our mindset. Let God guide us through this journey, and just focus on your growth. And know that in your time of need, when you feel like you're struggling, God will give you strength. When you feel weak, He is not weak, He is strong. Pray on it. Ask Him to guide you. So 3 things to work on when you're striving to be a Proverbs 31 woman is time management is number 1. Number 2, prioritizing our family. And number 3 is self-care. So here are 3 things that you can work on when you're striving to be a Proverbs 31 woman. So number 1 is time management. Number 2 is prioritizing our family. And number 3 is self-care. And through it all, pray, pray, pray. Seek the kingdom. Everything else will follow. Seek the kingdom. So, Bible study and seeking God's guidance. Let Him order your steps. Let Him. It's not our own will. It's His will for us. And He does everything for our good. So let's take this journey together. Let's strive to be a Proverbs 31 woman together. So that's it for this episode. If you think I should do a part 2 of a Proverbs 31 woman, let me know in the comments. If not, I'm just going to move on to the next episode, which is be impeccable with your words. Thank you for tuning in to the first episode of Just a Mama and Her Bible. Stay tuned for new episodes Mondays and Thursdays. And what are some tips you have for anyone striving to become a Proverbs 31 woman? Write it down in the comments. Let us all know, because I'm still learning. We're still growing together. So if you have any tips for me, let me know. And that's it for now. Thank you guys for tuning in. See you later. Bye.